a bike is one of the best childhood experiences I can remember. The sense of speed and control, the wind against my face, little comes close to those memories. Some of my best childhood memories stem from the freedom I enjoyed while riding my bicycle through the old neighborhood. Oftentimes, without stopping, two of my best friends would join me as I zoomed past their houses. Every Saturday, we would head out to the nearby trails along Crescent Lake. Riding those trails was a thrill I remember to this day. The twists and turns, accompanied by an occasional jump across a small water-filled ditch, added to the thrill and adventure of it all. There was one area in particular that presented an especially harrowing jump challenge. It was the best and scariest experience a kid could ask for. At the end of the trail was a 6-foot deep gorge stretching 8 feet across. I remember the first time the challenge came into view as we crested a small rise in the terrain at the final stretch of the hill. To a 9-year-old me, the gorge was an intimidating chasm of a challenge that begged to be overcome. Fortunately, all three of us figured out the key to mastering the task of overcoming the challenge. Momentum with a dose of courage. The first time we considered jumping the gorge with our Schwinn Stingray bikes was one of the earliest strategy sessions I can clearly remember. How would we do it? Who would go first? In retrospect, the one thing we never discussed was a contingency plan should any of us fail to accomplish the task. In the mind of a 9-year-old, there's no room for even a consideration of failure. We drew the plan in the dirt with a stick. Not that we needed to. It's something we saw on TV several times, so we figured it was what we were supposed to do to succeed. The small hill leading down to the gorge was long enough to give us the room we would need to gain enough speed to attempt the challenge, if we pushed the limits of our physical and psychological abilities. We were smart enough to figure out that speed was a necessary factor if we were to create enough momentum to carry us across that intimidating gorge. We had a starting point, the top of the hill. We had a goal to successfully fly across the gorge. And we had a plan to ride full out and hope we had enough speed to create the momentum that would carry us to the other side. We did a rock, paper, scissors drill to determine who would go first. I came in last, a blessing and a curse. I figured if the first two didn't make it, I'd have enough of an excuse not to attempt the challenge. But if they did make it, I'd be expected to follow through and do the same. The tension mounted. Andy went first. I remember Lars and me watching as Andy raced to the bottom of the hill and hit a small rise just before the gorge, lifting him and his bike into the air. He was airborne before he realized it. And, as if in slow motion, we watched as he easily made it to the other side, skidded to a stop, and declared his victory by throwing his bike aside and jumping into the air and shouting, "Yeah!" Lars and I were amazed and knew it was now his turn to face the challenge. Lars and I exchanged a high five, and before I knew it, I sat alone at the top of the small hill, watching Lars pedal with everything he had to the bottom of the hill. I held my breath as I watched him go airborne. Lars's landing wasn't as graceful as Andy's. In fact, he landed pretty hard and ended up crashing into the dirt on the other side. But he had made it. Andy helped him up and dusted him off, and soon the two were celebrating their victories, encouraging me to go, go, go. My heart raced as I focused all of my attention on the gorge below. I wanted so badly to make it to the other side where my friends now stood. One last deep breath, followed by a scowl of determination. I pedaled so hard I don't even remember traveling down the hill. The small rise in the dirt at the edge of the gorge is where I instinctively knew I'd have to pull up to assist the forces of momentum that would carry me across the gorge. My timing wasn't perfect, but it was enough to send me airborne as time suddenly slowed. Then, just as quickly, returned to normal as I found myself feverishly braking to a halt. I made it, and I didn't crash, which gave me equal bragging rights with Andy. In life, we're often faced with obstacles that get in the way of our dreams, goals, and aspirations. Unfortunately, many people needlessly give up on their dreams because of the seemingly insurmountable nature of the obstacles they face. It doesn't have to be that way. You can gain power over the obstacles you face in life by following a few simple rules. Follow along in your workbook and write these rules down in the space provided. Pause the video as you need to in order to capture the reminders. Rule number 1. To reach your destination, you must have clarity. You must know where you've been to understand how you got where you are. In the end, you're where you are because of the choices you made that got you here. Knowing where you are gives you a starting point and helps you determine where it is you want to go. That too is a choice you alone must make. Once you gain clarity, you gain focus. With focus, you gain power and dominion over the changes you need to make to achieve your dreams, goals, and aspirations. Change begins with action, and action, consistently practiced, produces momentum. Rule number 2. As you seek to accomplish your goals and objectives, look for models of success. Then, model in yourself the best of what succeeds. Make your model compelling so you're driven to follow through. Rule number 3. Avoid doing what you've done in the past. This rule may seem like common sense to some, but you'd be amazed at how many people keep repeating the same behavior, hoping for different results. Most of the methods you've used in the past don't work, so stop wasting your time and start today to create the momentum you need to succeed. In other words, be intentional. Sound familiar? Rule number 4. Always give more than you expect to receive. The secret to living is giving. The secret to achieving is doing the right thing over and over and over until you've created unstoppable momentum. Rule number 5. Find someone who's successful in the area you desire to be successful in. If one of the challenges you face is a lack of momentum, then get a committed partner. Don't rely on a good friend who you know will not help you to sustain and achieve the momentum you need to see the results. The choices you make have a lot to do with the momentum you create. In addition to the partnerships you seek, pay attention to the environment you're in. If you want to establish momentum, you have to choose the right people in the right environments. So if your desire is to soar with the eagles, then you need to make a conscious choice to step out of the chicken coop. Who you spend time with will determine whether you maintain the momentum required to achieve your goals or continue running into obstacles. Who you spend time with is who you become. So stop spending time with people who don't foster the mindset of who you aspire to be. This is one of the primary reasons it is so important to ally yourself with motivated, successful partners in the pursuit of your objective. And finally, rule number 6, get going. Don't overanalyze, overstrategize, or overcomplicate things. Just do it. Always remember, it's action that produces results. If you'll just get going, you'll start feeling alive again. You'll have hope. That's the power of momentum. Congratulations, you've just completed the You Are the Answer course. As a result of completing this 4-step process, you're now more prepared to take on virtually any task and to do it with more confidence and certainty than your closest competition. I'm confident the insight and education you gain from this course has helped you to know yourself better than you ever have. As a result, you're now better able to make the kinds of choices and decisions that will be more in line with who you are, where you're headed, and which path or course you intend to travel to get you there. As a reward for your completion and to celebrate the increased confidence you now have in yourself, I've included a bonus lesson for you absolutely free of charge. It's my way of helping you celebrate the strides you've made and the momentum you've created. The bonus lesson is entitled, Pay It Forward. The lesson is designed to help you leverage what you've learned in the previous lessons to positively affect the lives of others and to ignite the law of reciprocity. The true riches in life are not found in the balance of your bank account, but in the number of lives you enrich while you're here on this earth. The bonus lesson will help you put it all together for the greatest rewards you can ever imagine. I'll see you in the bonus lesson.